Welcome back to Teenage Nightmares, the place that drags you deeper into the world of the unknown. Tonight's chilling episode will feature David as he shares his creepy backyard camping experience. So sit back, get cozy, and prepare for another nightmare. Hello, my name is David, and this story takes place during the summer of 1987. I was just your average 11-year-old nerd, into comics, movies, and action figures. Anything with lasers, monsters, or superheroes had my full attention. What didn't have my attention was the outdoors. I hated it. Too many bugs, too much dirt, too quiet. My dad, on the other hand, lived for that stuff. Campfires, fishing, hunting, he loved it all. He'd beg me to go camping with him, but I'd always shoot him down. So, like any determined father, he found a way to bargain with me. He promised that if I camped out one night in the backyard, all by myself, he'd buy me whichever comics I wanted from the local shop. No questions asked. That was all I needed to hear. I figured it would be easy. I'd pitch the tent, read a few comics by flashlight, fall asleep, and cash in on a stack of new comics in the morning. But what was meant to be a night of bravery and adventure turned into real-life horror. It was around 8:30 p.m. when I began setting up camp. I had my tent, a flashlight, a few comics, and a small stash of snacks. Everything a kid like me needed for a night of fun. For the first time in forever, I actually felt excited about being outdoors. The first few hours passed without a problem. I read a couple issues of X-Men, ate a bag of chips, and even imagined myself as a hero surviving in the wild. But all that changed the moment I saw the lights in the house go out. That was the moment it hit me. I was really out here, alone in the dark. A tight knot formed in my stomach. I zipped up my sleeping bag and tried to force myself to sleep. It's just the backyard, I kept telling myself. But then I heard it. The gate. It creaked open with a long, dry groan, just loud enough to cut through the stillness. Then came the soft footsteps. Something, or someone, was moving through the yard. My heart started pounding so loud I swore whatever was out there could hear it. I sat there, frozen in my sleeping bag, holding my breath, waiting for something to reach the tent. And someone eventually did. He looked like a homeless man, filthy, wild-eyed, and reeking like death itself. His clothes were torn and caked in grime, and there was something deeply wrong about him. Before I could even react, he started shouting at me, screaming that I was in his house. Then the psycho pulled out a large kitchen knife. I froze. I didn't know what to do. My body locked up in fear. But somehow my instincts kicked in. I lashed out and kicked him in the groin as hard as I could, then turned and bolted for the back door of the house. But he was faster than I thought. Before I could reach the steps, he caught me from behind and threw me over his shoulder like I weighed nothing. I started screaming at the top of my lungs, crying out for my dad, my voice cracking with panic. And then, I saw the lights in the house flick on. Within seconds, the back door slammed open, and my father came charging out barefoot and in a rage. He didn't hesitate. He tackled the man to the ground, causing him to drop me instantly. My dad shouted for me to run, and I didn't argue. I sprinted for the house, yelling for my mom. She was already at the back door, panic in her eyes. "I called the police," she cried as I burst through. As I ran into the safety of the house, I heard the screams behind me, the man shrieking in pain. I turned back and saw my father, fists flying, beating the life out of him. The man barely got a hand up to protect himself. Within 10 minutes, the entire neighborhood was swarming with police. They found my dad standing over the unconscious intruder, his fists bloodied, chest heaving. The cops recognized the guy immediately. They said he'd been on the run for years, a known predator who had been abducting kids from their homes. I was the only one who ever survived an encounter with him. It's been decades since that night in the summer of '87, but I still don't go outside after dark. Not alone, not even in my own backyard. To the creep in my backyard, I hope you rotted in prison.